Bruce Kivo here for MMA Confidential here with Cung Lee, actor, MMA fighter. Cung, what brings you to New York right now?
I was here for the Asian American Visionary Conference, and I was a guest speaker. And definitely, I love New York City. So anytime we get a chance to, get flown out here and put up in a nice hotel, I'm here.
And how do you like New York so far?
The weather's great. I was expecting it to be a lot colder, but you know what? It must have been, the West Coast weather followed me here.
You're a great example for youth, especially Asian youth. How do you feel about being an actor, and how do you feel about your role as a good example for Asian youth?
Well, for me, being a good role model for the youth is very important to me. I definitely think there's a lot of things that need to be worked on for the youth, and education and just letting them be more aware of what's going on with society and with everything happening. And if they look up to me, I definitely want to set a good example.
I remember at your fights, I always see like millions of Vietnamese flags, flowing in the air. What was it like growing up? You were born in Vietnam, you came here when you were young. Did you face discrimination as a youth, or what was it like growing up?
It was very rough growing up for me. I was picked on all the time, and I didn't speak English. I was in a foreign country. Every day was a struggle, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world now, because I've learned so much, and it's part of me and who I am now.
Was growing up under these circumstances an influence in getting into MMA or martial arts at all?
Definitely growing up, being picked on and made fun of every day was a big reason why I got into martial arts, and it's definitely helped out a lot.
And now Strikeforce has been bought out by the UFC. Will you fight for Strikeforce now, or what's your thoughts?
I still have a contract with Strikeforce, and now since Strikeforce and UFC is under the same umbrella, if I do plan to fight again in the near future, I hope I can fight in the UFC.
And you're doing acting. That's surely a lot of fun. Do you still love competing? Do you still love fighting? What is it that you love?
I'm a martial artist first, and competition, I can never give that up. So I'll be sparring till I can't spar anymore. But if there's an opportunity to compete and it makes sense for both parties to make money, then I'm all over it. But right now I want to focus on my acting career, and I'm still trained and make sure I'm not too far out of shape for like a big fight, and take one day at a time, and hopefully everything comes together and everything works out great.
Do you feel you can honestly compete at your best level, making movies and also competing as a fighter?
Of course not. You can't compete. Well, I can't compete at the professional level of competition nowadays if I'm making movies. So that's why I'm either doing one or the other, and right now I'm doing the movies. But if the right fight came up with the right exposure, with the right pay, I'm all over it.
And your upcoming movie, Dragon Eyes, man, I got to thank you, man. The trailer was unbelievable. You're the big star of this movie. Do you think this will just take you just straight into movies forever, or do you think you'll come back to fighting?
Well, Dragon Eyes was a big accomplishment for me. I was able to choreograph all the fights on Dragon Eyes, work with Von Damme, Peter Weller, director John Himes, up-and-coming director who's going to be awesome, and then producers like Joel Silver, Courtney Solomon, Moshe Diamant, and I got 3 movies coming out within the next year, from The Man with the Iron Fist with Russell Crowe, Lucy Liu, producers Mark Abraham, Eli Roth, and Eric Newman, and then also a big Chinese movie, Grandmasters, with renowned director Wong Kar-wai. I'm on fire right now with the movies, but fighting's in my heart. It's a passion of mine, but I got to make the right decisions for longevity.
What's the big difference in doing fight scenes in the movies and and training, let's say at AKA with guys like Koscheck and Fitch? What's the difference?
Biggest difference doing fights in the movies is you don't get hit for real, and you don't wake up the next day beat up and hopping and limping around out of bed. So that's the biggest difference.
When you are training for a fight, who do you roll with? Who do you spar with in San Jose or wherever?
Well, when I'm not training for a fight, I still and I'm at home. I still teach classes, especially my youth classes, and I spar with all my fighters: James Terry, Sam Spangler, all my lightweights. You know, I just get in there and mix it up with all those guys. And then when I'm preparing for a fight, I get to AKA and I work out with Kane, Josh Thompson, and all the AKA guys.
What's it like working out with Kane or Josh Thompson or Koscheck or Fitch? What's it like, each guy?
Well, for me, working out with Kane is a blast because
he's a big dude, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Kane has great control, but he's a machine. He never stops, and just getting worked over by him knows that when I step in that cage, no one can beat me up like Kane can.
What's your thoughts on GSP versus Nick Diaz? Curious.
My thoughts on GSP versus Nick Diaz will be an exciting fight because Nick Diaz will bring the fight to GSP, and GSP is going to have to fight. So far, the matchup's been a little bit tough for GSP, and he does what he has to do to win. Hey, a win's a win, and he's beaten the best out there, and I think Nick Diaz will be definitely a good challenge for GSP.
Do you see yourself coming back and fighting for a championship in the near future, or what's your thoughts on that?
After the Scott Smith fight, I thought I was definitely in line for some kind of championships, even though he beat me the first time. But I came back and knocked him out, and I wasn't losing. I wasn't losing the first fight. I was dominating, and then I got caught. But everything works out the way it does, and I'm not the one who chooses if I should get a title or not. The promotion chooses that. I'm just in it for the exciting fights and entertaining the crowd because I already won one belt. I vacated it because I was doing the movies, and when I compete, I'm not just competing for that title. I compete because I enjoy it. I compete for the fans, and I compete for myself. I've definitely got belts before. I've done kickboxing, Sancho. I have a lot of titles under my belt, and when I compete now, it's all about for the fans.
Have you discussed anything with Joe Silva about a future fight?
No, I went to the UFC summit, and I talked to Dana White. I talked to Lorenzo. I Twittered about it, and Lorenzo said he'll work around my schedule. So the next time I meet up with him, I'm gonna try to work something out, make it reasonable for my training and my movie career, and hopefully everything works out great, and I can step inside the UFC octagon before I retire.
And you came here as a little kid from Vietnam. Here you are, you're a big action star right now. Of course, you're an MMA star. What was it like? How did you feel working with Van Damme, and who'd you work with on this movie, Legalizing? How did it feel to work with all these big stars like Van Damme, etc.?
It's definitely, I feel like I'm living the American dream. Came over here as an immigrant, a refugee from a war-torn country. I feel very blessed, and now, able to fight on Showtime, pay-per-view, and ESPN2, and I feel very blessed, and working with Russel Crowe, Lucy Liu, Von Damme, Peter Weller, awesome directors and producers. This is the American dream.
Wow, working with Russell Crowe, Lucy Liu. Let me ask you, what's more pressure, preparing for a real hard fight or learning your lines for a big role in a movie?
I definitely got to say more pressure is preparing for a big fight because you're going to get hit, and you're going to get, there's a chance of losing, and no one likes to lose. Everyone competes to win, and when I compete, I always train to win, and I come into the cage believing that I will win. But after what happened against Scott Smith, anything can happen. You get caught, with those 4-ounce gloves, anything can happen, and you got to be prepared for everything. But definitely more pressure when it's a real fight.
And you believe like anybody can get caught, right?
Anyone can lose.
I like that. What are your plans for today in my great city of New York? What do you got planned for today, bro?
A little R&R, then I'm gonna go off to Long Island and teach a Sancho seminar for one of my friends' martial arts dojo.
You ever get starstruck, by the way? You know, meeting Lucy Liu, Russel Crowe.
Actually, I don't get starstruck.
You've been with stars too long already.
No, it's not about I've been with stars too long. It's just like, they're people too, and I just don't feel that way. I just I get excited to work with them. That's it.
Very cool, very cool. You're in New York. We're trying to get mixed martial arts legalized in New York. It's been tough. It was passed in the Senate. It's going through the Assembly. We don't know what's going to happen. What are your thoughts on why mixed martial arts has not been legalized in New York? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know why mixed martial arts is not legal here yet. I just want to say to whoever's making the decision, get with the game plan. Let's make it happen. Why be the only state not to have MMA? MMA is everywhere. Make it happen.
Legalize it, baby. I'm Bruce Kivo, MMA Confidential, and that's Cung Lee. Thank you, brother.